Hi, I'm Tony Walter, Business Manager at Grace Vineyard.
Hey guys, I'm Scottie Young and I'm the campus pastor at North Canterbury, Plains Campus and Pegasus Campus.
And this is where it all began for us.
Yeah.
Opawa Methodist Church in Ainslie Terrace.
And this is where we got baptised.
Got baptised, met our wives.
Yeah.
Came to faith. And there's just so many amazing memories here.
Absolutely.
Special place.
Yeah. How old were you when you came in here, mate?
I would have been 19, I think, 19 or 20. And totally new to the whole Christian culture, really, in terms of going along to church. And it was all new, you know. And the people were so friendly, just incredibly friendly. And whatever you thought of church and God and whatever, you just couldn't get past how friendly people were. And that's, I think, what kept us when we first arrived here.
Yeah, I was 16 years old, just 16, I think, when my mate Andy invited me to that first church service. Actually, we were in the hall around the corner and it was completely empty except for about 10 seats. And David MacGregor on an acoustic guitar. He led worship and then he preached to about 10 or 14 young people. Yeah. And tell you what, it was powerful.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it was precious though. I look back on those times and, today we'd probably have a giggle, but from that small seed of just faithfulness actually, of Dave's leadership, the community built, other leaders came along, the team was formed. Yeah. And it just grew and grew and grew.
And the culture of what we were doing back then is basically what we're doing now with the, gifts of the Spirit operating and we made room for God to do stuff, Back then, amazing things were happening and amongst our youth, just right there in that small youth group. And really what we're doing today, larger, different facility, but same stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's the same stuff.
So, Tone, like the transition between Opawa and planting Grace Vineyard Church, what we now call our city campus. What was that? What happened there? How did that all kind of go down? Because I was on the outskirts of that, just sort of waiting for this new church plant to start. But you were right in the engine room in those days. How did that all happen?
So Dave and Liz, I guess, as a couple with a bunch of friends around and sort of youth leaders. We were youth leaders. We didn't know how to do grown-up church, we were just good at leading youth. But we had this sense where God was doing something amazing and we wanted a place where people could grow spiritually and we could disciple them. And we wanted people to come and get looked after. And I guess it was about a year after leaving Opawa that we planted Grace Vineyard in 1999 on April 1st. And it was just a really, really special time because a year of planning and dreaming and meeting together in a car at lunchtime and chatting about what a church could look like. It was all vineyard flavour, but we didn't have a place to be. So Thorington Primary School in the little hall was where it all started off. And we were just learning, like we were totally learning, but God was so good to us and God's favour was on us right in those days from the day we began. And you think about us now involved in ministry, however many years later, and the sacrifice, the things that we have now, largely in our faith and the communities we're building, was largely because of the sacrifices people made back in those days to build this church, to give their time, and the youth leaders and all the young adults who pastored us and discipled us, and we were ratbags, weren't we? And we needed the edges knocking off us, and we needed growing up in lots of ways, and those people just gave their time and their energy and resources to make that all possible. And
their finances when we skated into the church and wrecked a panel of jib or, whatever it was. Yeah. People invested.
They did.
Everything, didn't they, into us. Yeah. And I think there was no barriers in a way. We could break a pane on a fence or a window, which I think I did all of those things. And just that sense of the grace that was in the community for messy young people and people new to faith and kind of just embracing them and bringing them in. Yeah, it did cost them something.
Yeah, it cost, and I think a lot about it today with what we do with ourselves in ministry, and we hopefully are paving the way intergenerationally for people to experience what we did, because we're setting a culture where the kingdom can literally grow in people's hearts and people can be transformed. But it costs, like there's a cost in time and materially. And if we hadn't had those people go before us and pave the way, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing, and we wouldn't be having kids growing up in the church and actually working in the ministry. So,
yeah, and it's inspiring to think in those early years about the people who kind of partnered up. Like if I look back now, and I didn't, as a young person, 16 years old, I had no awareness, but Dave and the teams of people that came together to pray together, they were laser focused on, and as I joined the prayer meetings, I became a Christian, I learned, like, oh my gosh, these guys are so focused on pulling people in, saving them, cleaning them up, training them, giving them everything they've got in Jesus and sort of empowering them. Yeah, it's sort of like that's one consistent thing throughout, is this sort of like we're going for something here and we're going to do it together.
Yeah, and building something well beyond our lifetime. Like I want my kids to have what we had, and for that to happen, it takes sacrifice on my part and on our part and investment. But like I want our kids to grow up and have seen, kind of like in my lifetime, what kingdom life looks like, I mean, it's a lifestyle and a way of living that is something I want them to see firsthand and to hand over. I think isn't that our best inheritance we can give them? Is a life of faith?
Yeah, absolutely.